Those people were injured. Luckily, police say nobody on the beach was hurt. I mean, you could see how many people were on that beach there when that chopper landed in the ocean. But people were nearby, and they say it was quite the scene.
Sitting down over there, and we'd seen that helicopter go back and forth over the deep water several times. But then as it got closer, we noted, I'm an aircraft mechanic, so I noticed it didn't actually even have a chance to auto-rotate when it came down. It just, whatever he did, he just lost it. Came down, smashed, blades went going that way, helicopter started tipping. Everybody, the whole beach ran to the scene.
Geez, authorities have closed off a portion of the shoreline for safety reasons and to preserve the accident scene, while the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board continue to investigate. And new this hour, the Edison Festival of Lights Grand Parade has just wrapped up in downtown Fort Myers, and it was quite a sight to see. The parade featured more than 200 entries, including our own Fox 4 crew that you can see. We even got a look at what it was like to be on the parade route from inside our Storm Fox. The parade rolled from Fort Myers High School through downtown Fort Myers. The annual festival is always a big event in our area, and this year, of course, the crowd was huge.
Last year, unfortunately, with COVID, it was a little challenging. This year, I expect a huge turnout, and Lee County gets to see who serves them every single day, engaging at the highest level. I can't wait. So much fun.
I got my children and my grandchildren with me, and we just look forward to it every year. So we're going to start a new tradition with the young ones.
No, what a great time. The festival ran from 7 to 9 p.m. tonight, and all those roads that were blocked off for the parade are now back open again. Well, still ahead, what should the state do with the water releases at Lake Okeechobee? We're catching up with the Army Corps of Engineers to find out what our options are.
And we had a cold front move through. You might not have known it, but we are going to see those temperatures maybe slightly cooler tomorrow. I'll break it down for you coming up.
The push for tornado relief funds for neighbors across Southwest Florida continues. Governor Ron DeSantis is now asking the Florida Department of Emergency Management to appeal the federal government's decision. Now, this comes after FEMA denied a request from the state government for federal assistance this week. This all comes a month after Southwest Florida was hit by those multiple tornadoes. The governor visited the Iona-McGregor area on Friday to announce his decision, along with Kevin Guthrie, director of Florida Department of Emergency Management, and Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino. Governor DeSantis says all roads lead back to the federal government.
Well, I've told Kevin, if there's things that we can do, we want to be helpful. But I think the thing is that this individual assistance program is a codified program. You follow, there's eligibility, people could get the money, and it's kind of all above board. And that's what states have relied on for years and years and years. And so that is, I think, the best way to be able to get these folks relief.
Now, Guthrie said the appeal would take about a week to be compiled and sent back to FEMA. And Lee County officials want to remind you, if you were impacted by those tornadoes, there is still some assistance that's available for you. If you need help recovering, try calling either of these numbers that are on your screen. Lee County leaders say they're helping residents in every way that they can possible. We also have links to these resources offered by Lee County on our website at fox4now.com. And in other Florida news tonight, a group from the Army Corps of Engineers toured the St. Lucie River today after a roller coaster of debates over how to manage Lake Okeechobee releases. Matt Cesney with our sister station in West Palm Beach is looking into what lawmakers still have to decide on.
These local boat captains were anxious to get their passengers on the St. Lucie River.
Neither of the two top colonels have seen this part of St. Lucie River.
Mike Connor of the Indian River Keepers gave a special invite to Colonel James Booth, the local commander for the Army Corps of Engineers.
I've had a lot of opportunities over the last 5 months, and this is another one of those great opportunities.
The colonel and most everyone involved in water had attended a groundbreaking earlier for the C-23-24 stormwater treatment area, and it followed a roller coaster Thursday in the state capitol. Senators rolled back provisions in a bill that would have impacted how the Corps manages Lake Okeechobee, the EAA reservoir, and even affects, some say, water releases to waterways like the St. Lucie River.
I think from my perspective, the one thing I try to do is not necessarily get myself tied to legislation or politics, but be open and listen to people's feedback.
Overall, Clean Water and Everglades advocates say they feel better after the pushback on the bill, and now getting these policymakers on the water on a Friday afternoon, such as the South Florida Water Management District's executive director.
Been on the South Fork and the estuary and the Indian River Lagoon, but not the North Fork.
What happens here, we're concerned about water coming here from Lake Okeechobee, concerned about our own local stormwater runoff. We want to get the water from Okeechobee south to Florida Bay. That's the ultimate goal.
Seeing the beauty and importance of these waters and keeping blue-green algae out was really the goal of this trip for the Army Corps and water officials. Some are also concerned about that Lake Okeechobee water bill in the state capitol. A vote likely coming in the House on it next week.
Cape Coral City Council is sending a letter to the state Senate urging lawmakers to shoot down a bill that would reroute how water is released from Lake Okeechobee. The city worries it'll lead to more algae blooms for our area. The governor has also suggested he has similar concerns. Well, time to look at your forecast with meteorologist Andrew Shipley. Andrew, I know we were really bummed we couldn't make it out there to that Edison Festival of Lights, that giant parade, but you know what? I'm happy that it seemed like it was fantastic weather for it tonight.
It was. We just saw Patrick Nolan.
He snuck in here.
He says it was a wonderful night, and we will definitely make our faces seen there next year. I can promise you that. But taking a look outside here from downtown Fort Myers over the Caloosahatchee. This camera shot brought to you by Shutters at 239. You can see a few clouds out there, but we are expecting clearing skies here overnight tonight, though temperatures still pretty warm. 71 degrees in Fort Myers, 70 in Naples, 63 though up in Port Charlotte, a little bit cooler the further north you get, but we did have that cold front to move through the area, and you can see still some showers lingering just off Miami Beach from that front now, but now it's moved south of us. We are expecting clearing skies here overnight, lowering humidity, which I know Elise is happy about. We need that lower humidity around just to make it a little bit more bearable outside. 57 degrees there here tonight expected. Let's take a look at tomorrow, and you get into the afternoon hours, and we're looking at all sunshine out there tomorrow. It should be a beautiful day all across Southwest Florida. How about the temperature? Well, 82 degrees. So very similar to what we were today, just less humidity, which is going to make it feel just that much more bearable. 82 degrees in Naples. How about 82 Punta Gorda there as well? And if you are looking to get out in the boat, just be careful out there. We do have a small craft advisory through the morning hours. We do expect conditions to improve as we get in towards the afternoon hours. Those seas still probably about 3 to 4 feet and moderate chop on our inland waters. Now, throughout the day, we are expecting humidity to drop, and this is something we're watching for a couple reasons here. It is going to feel nicer outside, but it's also going to affect our fire weather tomorrow's relative humidity drops into the mid-30s. That's kind of that critical spot for you. The other thing we keep an eye on is the Ketchum-Bryan Drought Index, and this is just one of the ways that we look at drought and the soil moisture. Anywhere in that green and yellow, which is all of Southwest Florida, is very dry out there. We need some rain, and we don't have any in the forecast this week at all, and that's concerning because look at the deficit so far. We're building in our rainfall deficit, now over an inch below normal here in Fort Myers, over half an inch below normal in Naples, so we do need the rain. And again, unfortunately, we don't have any in the forecast this week, and we do expect probably that drought is going to expand. We got finally into the drought this week, abnormally dry conditions, which is the first of 5 categories, but I do expect that to expand here over the next couple of weeks. So all that said and done, we do have high fire danger tomorrow in Lee County. Now, the surrounding areas are still at moderate, but we still need to be careful out there. The good news, though, is we don't have those gusty winds expected tomorrow afternoon. Probably only going to be about 5 to 10, maybe a gust or 2 up to about 15 miles an hour. So that's the only saving grace, even though we're dry out there tomorrow. But still going to feel nice both Sunday And Monday, a lot of folks do have off. President's Day, looking at mostly sunny skies, warm conditions, looking about 83 degrees. That's not bad. Not bad at any means. Maybe get out in the beach, but it's just going to get warmer as the week moves on. Take a look at Wednesday. 88 degrees. They're forecasted just shy of record temperatures set back in 1962. Even Thursday, 87, just 2 degrees shy of those record temperatures again later on in the week. And this is something we're going to be seeing a lot of as the week moves on, is those warming temperatures, as again peaking Wednesday, but even in towards the weekend, take a look at that. We're looking at temperatures remaining into the 80s by Friday and Saturday. We're still looking at plenty of sunshine and normal temperature this time of year, 79 degrees, and definitely going to be above that. Elise.
Thank you, Andrew. Still ahead, preventing overdose deaths. Coming up, we'll talk about how one Florida mom is pushing for change for first responders. Right now, we have an update to a story we first brought you on Fox 4 News Thursday night. A 17-year-old who was hit by a car in Collier County is now recovering at home. The teen, who was admitted to NCH in critical condition on Thursday morning. Florida Highway Patrol says the crash happened on Immokalee Road, just north of the Oil Well Road on Thursday morning. Investigators say the teen got out of his car and walked in front of another SUV. FHP says the driver did stop and cooperated with this investigation. A new study from the National Institutes of Health says drug overdose deaths are decreasing nationwide, but in some age groups, they're still tracking a rise in drug abuse. Tonight, we're hearing from Michelle Quesada with our sister station in West Palm Beach to learn how one mom is currently working to make sure no one's child dies from their addiction.
I can't change what's happened in my family, but maybe I can impact someone in this community that needs help, and I can go to sleep at night knowing that I did the best I could.
It's the memory of her son Rory that pushes Cindy Singer to fight every day to help others battling addiction.
I say this all the time, but to help one is to help many.
She and co-founder Stacy Katz created Our Two Sons to help people into recovery. They're also working now with the Palm Beach County Hub, a resource center for the recovery community.
We have an opioid epidemic and we have a COVID pandemic.
A rise in mental health cases, Cindy says, is pushing people to turn to drugs. And Palm Beach County is seeing an increasing circulation of drugs laced with a lethal component.
So fentanyl is 100 times more potent than any other drug we've ever seen, including heroin.
Data from the Palm Beach County Medical Examiner's Office shows 2021 saw about 50 less overdose deaths than 2020. But already in 2022, 54 people have died, up 23% than the same time last year.
Already this year, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue has administered more Narcan than the same time last year. The hub is a training and distribution site for the use of Narcan, spreading a strong message that one box can save a life.
Narcan, or naloxone, is an emergency treatment for an opioid overdose. It reverses symptoms.
Isn't that what we want? You have no chance to change your life if you're not alive.
Recently, Cindy and Stacy helped lead a protest to encourage all first responders to carry Narcan. They believe it won't prevent the rise in overdoses, but may prevent the deaths.
We know that the fire rescue has it. There are certain police departments that carry it, but it's not a policy that's across the state.
A suspect has been arrested in an 18-year-old case. What we know about the man in custody now. And Congress wants to sanction Russia for its movement on the border of Ukraine. What that could mean for your wallet.
Live from Southwest Florida, you're watching Fox 4 News at 10.
Thanks for staying with us. Tonight we have an update from the Lee County Sheriff's Office as they say they've arrested a suspect in an 18-year-old cold case. Deputies say Sean Boyles took off to Canada after a man was found stabbed to death at the Levers Key State Park back in 2004. A warrant was issued for his arrest. Recently, deputies say he came back to the United States and he was arrested in Oklahoma after a traffic stop. He was then brought back to Lee County where he now faces manslaughter charges. And a DeSoto County man is facing charges after deputies say he tampered with several graves. DeSoto County deputies say they've been investigating reports of graves being damaged in the area. After an investigation, they've obtained a search warrant for the home of Yosebel Gonzalez. Detectives say they found items stolen from 3 different county grave sites in that home. Gonzalez reportedly stole several altars and offerings. He's being charged with injuring or removing a tomb or monuments and disturbing contents of a grave or tombs. And the Coast Guard says they've returned 29 people back to Cuba after crews had to rescue them off the coast of Key West. The Coast Guard says the immigrants were traveling in a 20-foot green wooden vessel when they hit dangerous waters. The Coast Guard wants to remind people not to travel in boats that aren't seaworthy. And the National Archives is now cooperating with the Department of Justice to transport 15 boxes of classified records that were found at Mar-a-Lago. Activist David Ferrero told the House Oversight Committee that his staff has been in contact with the Justice Department about the transfer of the documents from former President Donald Trump's Florida home. But the DOJ says they have yet to see whether they've received them. Continuing our coverage on the evolving situation on the Ukrainian border, tonight Congress is renewing its threat to sanction Russia should Russian President Vladimir Putin choose to invade. Fox News' Chad Pergam has the latest.
Congress talked tough on sanctions for Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
I am in favor of action. Putin is a KGB thug.
There will be severe and serious consequences if he invades Ukraine.
We, too, want to remind him there's a heavy price to be paid.
But lawmakers stumbled to craft a bipartisan deal. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Menendez said weeks ago the sides were on the 1-yard line. But now Congress is out, and muscular sanctions, at least from Capitol Hill, were just a threat.
I will regret Congress leaving town without a bill that expresses our solidarity and our bipartisan support for sanctions that would really hit Putin where it hurts.
Hefty sanctions were supposed to deter an invasion, but internal bickering sidetracked sanctions. Plus, the Biden administration worried that sanctions could impede Western Europe from receiving natural gas from the controversial Nord Stream 2 pipeline. A European energy crisis could wreck the world economy. That's why some lawmakers are okay letting the Biden administration do the dirty work.
I'm not concerned because the White House has all the sanctions tools that it needs.
That means Congress is reduced to what are, so far, empty threats. As the Ukrainian crisis deepens, Republicans are quick to cite President Biden's foreign policy debacle last summer.
Not a doubt in my mind that the Russians wouldn't be on the border of Ukraine with 100,000 or more troops had we not indicated to the rest of the world we were pulling the plug on Afghanistan and going home.
In the end, the Senate did pass something, a feeble resolution saying lawmakers stand by the people of Ukraine. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
So now you might be wondering what this means for us here in the United States. Even without those sanctions, you could feel the pinch. One of the things you could be paying for extra is gas. Prices are already spiking, and some analysts say conflict in Ukraine could send them over $100 a barrel. And the cost of food could go up too. Here's why. Russia is the world's top exporter of wheat, and Ukraine produces a lot of corn. Economists say that the pressure could push inflation to 10%. Right now, the national inflation rate is sitting at 7.5%. Joe Biden was in Tampa yesterday to push the president's new initiative for cancer research. The Cancer Moonshot program is funneling money into cancer research centers across the country to try and reduce the death rate from cancer by at least 50% over the next 5 years. One of those centers is the Moffitt Cancer Center in St. Petersburg. While scientists continue their efforts to speed up research, Biden spoke about the importance of getting screened early.
As you know, early detection is the key. And so because of the pandemic, so many people have put off their cancer screenings. So I'm going to be out traveling, trying to get people to get back to screenings so that every community can get their cancer screenings.
Congress has approved $1.8 billion in funding for the Moonshot program over the next 7 years. And a warning from Lee Health tonight about a new scam targeting patients. The hospital system says some people are spoofing Lee Health's name and phone numbers by pretending to call from their doctor's office. Officials say if you receive these calls and if it seems suspicious, you should hang up immediately. You should also call your doctor's office to confirm that phone call. Lee Health is reporting that a downward trend of COVID cases continues at its hospitals. Officials say the number of COVID-19 patients being treated at its hospitals has decreased every day this week. They say it's a sign that they have moved past the plateau and are beating the Omicron surge. Lee Health says it's caring for 124 COVID-19 patients. More across Southwest Florida. A controversial bill is heading to the Florida Senate Appropriations Committee on Monday. Now, protesters gathered in Naples yesterday to share their concerns over what opponents call the Don't Say Gay bill. The bill, which supporters call the Parental Rights and Education bill, would limit conversations about sexual identity inside the classrooms. Protesters say the bill would hurt, not help, children and families. Now, those protesters delivered a petition with more than 300 signatures to State Senator Kathleen Passidomo's office, asking her office and fellow lawmakers to reevaluate this bill before it goes any further.
Our plan is to show the senator and our House representatives that we are here, that we have a voice, and since it does affect our voice and the voice of the children who are in our community, that they need to take that into account as they're considering these bills moving forward.
Now, there is strong support for this bill, too, in general terms, from parents who want to have more control over what goes on in their child's classrooms. And specifically for this debate, from parents who say it should be up to them, not the teacher, to decide when their children are ready for these types of conversations.
These children do not belong to the state. They belong to families. And without their involvement, there's no success for children.
There's an identical bill making its way through the Florida House as well. We're following this story on air and online. You can find these latest updates on fox4now.com. And the 47th annual Greek Fest is happening this weekend at Greek Orthodox Church in Fort Myers. Fox 4 certified meteorologist Andrew Shipley was there to check out the festival. He told me all about it, and he said the food was pretty good, which is the biggest fundraiser of the year for the church. But organizers say it is much more than that. They say it's a way to keep Greek heritage alive and share it with the community. John Roop, who helps lead the planning for the festival, says sometimes traditions and cultures get lost with future generations.
We like to share that with the people that you don't see this as much as you used to, you know, and we like to share that with the outside people that come in. I think they enjoy seeing the flaming cheese, saganagi as we call it, and the lukamatas, the honey puffs, and just seeing what we do as Greeks outside of the festival. We do this year round. The festival just magnifies what we do in our daily lives.
Festival goers will not only be able to enjoy authentic Greek food, but also the church's children will dance cultural dances that represent all of the regions of Greece. Now, these kids study these dances and their meanings for months before they're actually performed. They'll be open 11 a.m. tomorrow and go until 7 p.m. And the 20th annual Nichols Cup Pro-Am golf and tennis tournaments is happening now through February 21st. It's hosted by the Bobby Nichols Fiddlesticks Charity Foundation. Now, it's a series of charity events to help benefit local causes to help abused and at-risk children. It's all taking place at the Fiddlesticks Country Club in Fort Myers. The four-day event features golf and tennis tournaments, a gala, and live and silent auctions. To date, the annual tournament has raised more than $13.5 million for local children's charities. And Women Build volunteers gathered in Fort Myers this morning to construct a new home for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic. It was made possible through the help of Habitat for Humanity. This marked the first wall-raising event for the Women Build campaign in 2 years. Because of the pandemic, construction sites were limited to Habitat staff. This year, Habitat for Humanity of Lee and Hendry counties hope to raise about $390,000 during the Women Build campaign to build 2 homes. Both of those homes, including today's, will be built for female-led households.
We are building this home in Heritage Heights, which is one of several neighborhoods